The atmosphere at the BTS concert at Rogers Stadium, Toronto, suddenly turned emotional when Jimin and Jungkook spotted a veteran fan who had reportedly been following their journey since their debut days. The moment occurred during an interaction session with ARMY, when their attention was drawn to a middle-aged fan in the front row holding an old banner. The banner triggered nostalgia, as it displayed a message related to the early days of BTS's journey. Jimin seemed to double-check what he was seeing, while Jungkook also observed the fan from the stage. A few seconds later, the mood shifted as both of them seemed to realize that this fan had been part of their journey for many years. Jimin paused his activity to pay attention to the fan, prompting an emotional reaction from nearby ARMYs. The banner served as a reminder that BTS's path was built not only through songs and concerts, but also through long-standing relationships with fans who remained since the beginning. The moment grew even more emotional when Jungkook decided to approach the side of the stage. Instead of just greeting from afar, he stepped down toward the front area to approach the veteran fan. A spontaneous decision met with loud cheers across Rogers Stadium. Jungkook then embraced the fan. The brief hug intensified the emotional atmosphere, while the fan appeared unable to hide their tears. Under the spotlights and witnessed by thousands of ARMYs, the moment felt like a bridge between the past and the present in BTS's long journey. Jimin also offered a warm response. His expression indicated an understanding of how much this meeting meant to a fan who had witnessed their journey from the start. For other ARMYs present, it became one of the most touching moments, demonstrating that memories from their debut era still hold a special place years later. The crowd's cheers softened into an emotional atmosphere as the old banner was shown on the big screen again. Many ARMYs raised their light sticks in support, creating a scene that connected longtime fans with newer ones. It served as a reminder that a group's journey is measured not only by major accomplishments, but also by the people who continue to walk alongside them. The meeting in Toronto became one of the most memorable stories of the night. Jimin and Jungkook not only found an early fan among a sea of ARMYs, but also seemed to rediscover a piece of memory from when their journey had just begun. For the fans watching, Jungkook's hug and Jimin's emotional reaction symbolized that even after many years, the support of ARMYs from the debut era still holds immense meaning. Jungkook and Jimin did not want to let the encounter with the veteran fan happen only from a distance. After realizing the presence of the figure holding a banner from the early days of BTS's journey, both gave longer attention than usual. The atmosphere around the stage gradually changed, as if they were trying to confirm that the person in the front row was indeed a fan who had followed them since their debut. Without wasting time, Jungkook moved toward the side of the stage, and Jimin followed his lead. Their decision to step down from the main stage triggered an immediate reaction from the ARMYs at Rogers Stadium. Cheers echoed throughout the entire venue as the two BTS members drew closer to the front row. For fans standing nearby, the moment came as a complete surprise. Thousands of eyes watched Jungkook and Jimin approach the veteran fan. Some ARMYs even began to cry, realizing that this simple encounter carried a much deeper meaning than a typical concert interaction. When Jungkook finally stood right in front of the fan, the atmosphere shifted in seconds. The fan appeared overwhelmed with emotion, while Jungkook gave them his undivided attention. Amid the noise of the stadium, the moment felt deeply personal, as if the sound of tens of thousands of audience members had momentarily faded away. Jimin, standing close by, smiled as he watched the fans' reaction, completing the moment. Two members who had walked a long path with BTS were now standing before someone who had likely witnessed various phases of their journey from the very beginning. Cheers broke out again as Jungkook hugged the fan, marking one of the most emotional highlights of the event. The fan could not hold back tears, while surrounding audience members applauded to show respect for their long journey as an ARMY. Jimin offered a warm gesture before both slowly made their way back to the stage. However, their attention repeatedly drifted back toward the fan, as if reluctant to leave a moment that had brought back memories of their debut era right into the middle of a massive concert in Toronto. The embrace from Jimin and Jungkook became the emotional peak of the event. After both approached the front row and offered direct attention, the veteran fan broke down in tears. Having followed BTS's journey for years, the fan had likely watched countless performances through screens, But that night in Toronto delivered an entirely different experience. The fans' tears made the atmosphere around the stage even more moving. They tried to compose their emotions while standing so close to the two BTS members they had previously only seen from afar. Surrounding ARMYs were equally touched seeing the reaction. JUNGKOOK offered a warm embrace that unfolded in a deeply emotional setting, where cheers gradually blended with applause. For the fan, those few seconds felt like an answer to the long journey they had experienced as an ARMY. Jimin also showed care and warm gestures toward the fan, making the moment feel even more personal. His expression reflected an understanding of how significant this encounter was for someone who had supported BTS from the early days. What made the event even more touching was the presence of the old banner. The simple item served as proof of how far time had moved. From the time BTS was just starting out to performing before tens of thousands in Toronto, the fan remained, bringing the same memory along. The tears shed that night were not merely about meeting idols. They carried a long journey, memories, struggles, and pride gathered into a single moment. That was why when Jimin and JUNGKOOK gave their embrace, the emotional reaction felt genuine and touched many ARMYs present. After a moment, Jimin and JUNGKOOK slowly returned to the stage, though the emotional atmosphere lingered. The fan was still trying to calm down while nearby ARMYs offered support through applause and cheers. While the fan used to watch BTS when their name was still being built piece by piece, they were now standing once again in front of a group that has grown into one of the biggest names in the world. Being present at Rogers Stadium, Toronto, held its own meaning, as the fan did not come merely to enjoy a concert, but to bring memories from the time when BTS's journey had just started. One of the factors that made the moment so emotional was the old banner being carried. It acted like a small piece of the past carried through years of journey. When Jimin and JUNGKOOK saw it from the stage, it served as a reminder of how long a path had been walked together with ARMY. In the early days, few could have imagined that BTS would perform in front of tens of thousands of fans in a large stadium in Toronto. Back then, every stage and every bit of support from fans meant everything in building their path. Now, the scene has changed drastically, with a sea of ARMYs filling the venue and thousands of light sticks illuminating the entire stadium. Amid the grandeur of the concert, a single veteran fan managed to capture the attention of Jimin and JUNGKOOK. The contrast between the grand stage and a familiar face in the front row made the moment even stronger. To both members, the fans seemed to bring back a piece of an old journey that had mostly been kept as a memory. Jimin and JUNGKOOK's reaction made the atmosphere even more emotional. They did not simply wave from afar, but made an effort to get close to the fan. When JUNGKOOK and Jimin stepped down from a stage to offer direct attention, cheers from ARMY echoed throughout Rogers Stadium. The fan appeared overwhelmed with emotion upon being so close to the two BTS members. Falling tears represented the long journey of an ARMY who witnessed BTS evolve from their debut era to the stadium era. In a single night, years of stored memories seemed to resurface all at once. The moment also highlighted that BTS's journey is not just about numbers, awards, popular songs, or massive stages. Behind every achievement are millions of fans who grew alongside them. While some ARMYs joined after BTS became famous, others have been there since a time when the path was far from easy. Because of this, the encounter in Toronto felt like a circle coming back to its starting point. A fan came carrying a banner from the past, while Jimin and JUNGKOOK stood before them after walking a long path. From small stages to stadiums filled with a sea of ARMY, that one old banner stood as a witness that while time may change, the memories shared between BTS and the fans who stayed from the beginning will always hold a special place.